Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. I'm just going to quickly show you this little tablet here. And the reason I'm showing you this tablet is because it's one of those things, again, you find a bit of a bargain and you can share it on to other people. At the moment, these particular tablets are coming out fairly cheap. They're about $250 Australian, which I believe is an absolute bargain. And that's why I'm telling you about it, because you might need a tablet and you might be able to see some use in this particular type of tablet. Now, to start off with, the actual tablet is a Panasonic ToughPad. And for the actual size of it, you could literally use it as a GPS in your car because it's that size. It's quite small. There's a few good things I like about it, and I'll tell you about that, and show you a few things that we're using on it, which you might find interesting as well in your business. So to start with, the reason I went for this particular ToughPad, and once I got one, I actually bought 3 of them because they're that good. This one here is running Windows 10. This one has a cellular 4G card in it as well, which is really good. So you can use it on Wi-Fi or you can use it on the cellular network and you get everything you need. So a lot of times now with invoicing, or it could be looking up codes, or even if you're doing automotive, you might need a computer to actually go online and crunch a code from a website for a login or a PIN, or go to a website to get more information or anything along those lines. So that's why I went for this particular pad. When you actually use it, you know, you got your thumbs, the size of it, very good, very easy to use. It's got the front facing camera, it's got the rear facing camera as well, if I can show you just here. The battery pack there, and underneath here, this little part here is where the SIM card goes if you want to do that. Running Windows Pro or Windows 10, whatever you want to call it. On the side here you have your 16 volt DC input, and you can use a 12 volt step-up converter for about $30-40 and run it off in your car as well. On this side here you have a USB and a 3.5, I think it's 4-pole microphone speaker type deal. And then on the top you've got your power button, your up and down button, lock the screen button, and all the rest. So it's got pretty much everything I kind of needed. A couple of the programs I use a lot is, one of them is Instacode. So I was able to load Instacode on this tablet as well quite easily. Instead of doing it on a computer, you simply just go to the download, enter in your activation, and bang, it'll upload it just like it does any other computer. And I find that handy because if, let's say, not all of your vehicles or your fleet might have Instacode. There might be a time where if you're going out on a job, you could just go take the tablet and then they would have that ability to have Instacode. The other side to that is if you've got to have a computer or a laptop in your car, then you've got to be able to power that, put that somewhere. It's going to get knocked around. A tablet's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit easier, and you just throw it in the passenger seat, and you know, this ToughPad is designed to be chucked around, dropped, and still be okay. So it's going to stand up to a little bit more than an actual laptop will. By having the USB on the side as well is very functionable. So you can, you know, plug into what you need to do. It's probably not going to do some of the bigger EEPROMing type stuff, but then again, you never know. It might actually do that as well. But for access to codes and calculators and online resources, I find it very good. To be able to take a photo and do all that from the actual tablet is very good. A little bit more easier than a laptop, you could say. A lot of people are still running around with laptops, but for $250, you know, very happy. I've used this more than I actually have used my laptop in my car, because I have a laptop in my car with a special RAM mount, and it's mounted in a particular way, which is really good. But I find this easier because I just pick it up like a book, turn it on, and away we go. That's one of the reasons why I got them. The other reason I'm starting to use this one is because of this Zello app, and I'll give you this little pearl here. So this Zello app, what that is it's a program or an app that runs in the background. And the reason you want this is because it's a digital two-way radio. Using the cellular net or Wi-Fi network, whichever you have available. So it sends digitally audio messages to one to the next. You can do groups, you can have one-way chat, you can have pretty much however you want to configure it. That also has a paid version where it has GPS tracking and things, so you can see it all online. But one of the features that we're going to try and be using it for this year, and that feature is the audio recording. So many times you'll be on a job, and the problem is in the office we're not finding out about the stock which has been used until a day or two later, which puts us at a disadvantage, because if we're able to know exactly what stock has been used when, then we can actually go ahead and reorder that stock straight away. So with this Zello program, because it does recorded messages, we're going to be trialing that out, and we'll let you know how it goes in a few months, whether or not it was successful or not. And the idea behind it is to, when a job is actually done, we can call it through, how much was paid, what stock was used, and then in the office we know exactly how much was paid and what stock was used, and also that they're available to do the next job. The service person's available to do the next job. So it's got a few merits in that regard. Making phone calls back and forth to the office can sometimes be way too much trouble, and writing things down sometimes often can be a little bit of trouble as well, and that information doesn't get straight back to the office in a sometimes it's not until the end of the day, and you can always forget things. So this Zello app is quite good, and by having a little tablet like this, you can keep it running in the background. And I'll give you a quick little example. Testing 1 2 3 4. So it's a simple, I'm using my mobile phone here. You can use your other computer, you can use your mobile phone and use this app. It will probably heat up the phone. Like when you've got too many apps running, it can make your phone heat up a little bit. That's why I didn't want to confuse the mobile phones and use the mobile phones, because it's just going to make the battery life go down quicker. By having an app running in the background, it'll heat the mobile phone up a little bit more, which also reduces the battery life and makes it uncomfortable to hold. So that's why we decided to put it on this device. Just finished over here in Berkeley, 220, used a Lockwood 001, need to return that to the van. Okay, so I've recorded a message just there basically, and now, oh, he's ringing. Now those messages are actually stored here, so we could simply just go back to history and we can listen to it again. Just finished over here in Berkeley, 220, used so I can go to any console, any computer I've got, and I can replay that message, and all of those messages are kept here for me. So when it comes time to ordering, I'm going to replay those messages, write down all the stock and order it all. When that van comes back into the office, I'll have that stock ready for him the day or the next day, and also we'll have the same tally of actually the parts and things that are that have been used. So Zello, very good app. The other apps you know about, some of the Instacode and things along those lines. This tablet as well can be powered so that when the power is applied to it, it stays on. When the power is disconnected, it'll shut itself off. So you can almost just use it as a tablet as well. If you wanted to, you could possibly use it as a GPS, but you will probably use some sort of mobile data, but you can use it as a GPS. Some of the other functions you can get is the microphone. So this little microphone port on the side here, what you can do there is you can get a microphone, and you could basically have it as a push-to-talk function. And what that means is that when you plug it in, you have Zello running in the background, and when you pull the microphone, it's going to open up the mic circuit, and basically push-to-talk or a Vox function using a push-to-talk microphone. So that would work quite well. The next thing about these tablets is they don't come with a power adapter, but you just pick one up off eBay there, and that's cost you about a total of $20-$30. The one for the car cost you about a total of $20-$30. The actual screws on the side, if you take these screws out, you can take these covers off, because if you are going to car mount something like this, you need to have the power on, and you need the USB coming out this side. So, pretty functionable as a car PC or a CB radio, or needing Instacode and all that sort of stuff. Now, for an extra $12, if you buy now, you don't get free steak knives, you get a little cradle just like that. And basically what that does is you can sit it on your desk. So if you don't have CB radios in your workshop and you're always calling each other, and there's no way of calling into the office to say, look, I'm finished, I'm ready for the next job, and you've got a call, that's a lot more calls, and there's too many calls sometimes, and sometimes managers or bosses, they're always on the phone. So this Zello program I kind of like, and by having it mounted on the cradle with a little microphone coming out of it is pretty cool. It means that if you're on the phone and somebody calls through, I'm clear, ready for the next job, you can be on the phone and you haven't stopped what you're doing, and you're ready, they're ready for the next job without having to take that time to make that phone call. And then once you finish your call, you pick up the microphone and you can shoot them the next job. Hey, if they're out of the car and they're getting lunch and they didn't hear that call, that's cool, because when they get back, the Zello app will have it all already there, already recorded. So that's pretty cool about being able to have it as an audible message that you can replay and replay, because a lot of times you say things and people don't listen, and then they can play it back, the instructions, time and time again, so you can actually hear it again and again. So that way every time you send through a message, it's there and it's clear and they can hear. So these are on eBay. I'll put the link down in the description. It's called a Panasonic ToughPad FZM1 at $250. I reckon it's an absolute bargain for what it is and what it can do. There are some more cradles and things, but you'll find the price of the cradles for automatic drop-in cradles and things to do these pins is going to probably be phenomenally high. I did find some standard tablet holders which clamp on the back here, quite easy to fit on these ones, so you can just get a couple of cheap cradles. On the back here too, the batteries, I found that the batteries are quite significant. They last, because it turns itself off. I've had one that's been lasting me 4 or 5 days, and I've used it 20 minutes each day here and there, so they do hold their power quite well with the batch that I got. So yeah, depending on what you get, some of the buttons are a little bit worn and things, but considering the what it's going to go through, I think for the money it's a dead set winner. Also, if you're ever eating your Macca's meal in the car, which a lot of locksmiths do, you might want to flick on a little bit of YouTube or Spotify or check your emails, and by having a screen like this is a good size because you can actually read what's on the screen from the driver's seat. So if you've just pulled over the side of the road and you want to check if that work order's come through, you can simply hit the mail button, read it full on, and it's all there in front of you, rather than having to boot up a computer, because a computer's just impractical. The next thing about this is it does have the password protection too, so if it gets knocked off, it's not the end of the world, and you're up for about $250. So I think most GPSs are about that price anyway, but for what it is, absolute bargain. Really love it. Rock solid, droppable, lockable. You can change modules if you've got the money, because they'd be quite pricey, but this right here would have probably been about $2,000, maybe even more, and these days at $250, good value, definitely good value. Leave your comments down below, and thanks for watching.